Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to gain weight for skinny guys. But first, if you're new, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. I really appreciate it. And let's dive into it, dudes. Okay, so believe it or not, I was a skinny guy all throughout high school. I ran cross country. I was about 115 pounds. And I was super skinny, but I was like, no, we got to change that. So today I'm going to help give you the tips that helped me to put on weight, put on muscle, and hopefully shorten the time between putting on as much muscle as you'd like. So let's dive into it with tip number one. Tip number one is the old saying, calories in versus calories out. The more calories you consume, the more weight you will put on. But one of the things we need to watch out for are low-calorie dense foods. Those are amazing if you're trying to lose weight, but that's not our goal today. We want foods that are higher in calories and keep you less full. That way you keep going back for more food and you put on more weight. These foods consist of foods like avocados. Avocados are amazing because they're healthy for you and they are higher in calories, so you're going to have more calories, plus you're going to have a little bit of that extra healthy benefit from the natural avocado. And one thing we want to keep in mind is how many calories are we eating throughout the day versus how many are we burning. We want to be making sure we are eating more calories than we burn. And a lot of times what people do is they'll just consider the volume of food that they eat. However, volume does not necessarily correlate to how many calories you are consuming. There are a lot of foods that are low in calories, yet make you feel really full. So you can eat so much of that one food. Potatoes can sometimes be an example of a food where you can eat a lot of it, yet you don't put on that much weight because the calories aren't there. So we want to be having foods that are higher in calories, and hopefully we can keep going back and having more of that food, really making sure to get in as many calories as we need to avoid burning them all off. And that really comes into play if you don't really like to eat or you find eating a struggle. You want to make sure that the foods you are eating contain more calories than other foods. So, am I telling you to eat junk food? No, I'm trying to say pick the right healthy foods that have higher calories. Again, these are things such as avocados and eggs. Eggs are another good source of protein, plus they are higher in calories. Once you want to start dieting and getting shredded, then maybe switch to egg whites. They're a little bit healthier, but if you are trying to put on weight, whole eggs are really good, and they're going to give you protein, fats, and more calories. So again, sticking to foods that are higher in calories and are going to help prevent you from being in a caloric deficit, something we don't want when we're putting on weight. And a lot of people also don't realize how they're tracking calories. If you're tracking calories from raw foods versus from cooked foods, that's a lot different because foods shrink once you start cooking them. If you have a 6-ounce steak, once you start cooking it, it's not going to be 6 ounces anymore, and you might be adding calories from that 6 ounce of uncooked food versus the 4 ounce of actual cooked food that you have. So that's another thing to keep in mind is raw foods way different than cooked foods. You want to make sure you get the cooked food calorie content, not the raw food. It makes a difference. All right, let's dive into tip number two. Okay, so now we have all the calories we need. We're perfect. We're in a caloric surplus. Now what do we do? What we want to start doing now is focusing on our exercise. What kind of exercise are we doing? Are we running all the time and doing cardio? Because that is going to increase the amount of calories you burn and can put you right back into that caloric deficit. Something, again, we are not wanting. We don't want that to happen. So let's focus on movements we should do. We should be in the weight room or calisthenics if that's what you prefer, but we should be adding weights, incorporating them into our workout routine, And if you can't minimize the amount of cardio due to a certain sport, increasing those calories to make up for all those lost calories from running, doing whatever your sport wants. And then once we start getting into the weight room, we want to talk about what movements should we be doing. The movements we should be doing have a high time under tension. Whatever those movements are, whether you are doing push-ups, pull-ups, or even if you're doing bodybuilding exercises such as bicep curls, bench press, we want to be making sure we are increasing the time under tension. Muscle build comes from a lot of time under tension, doing higher reps, even slower reps too. Doing 3x10s to 3x12s, slow and controlled, is really going to put that time under tension, break those type 2 muscle fibers down even farther, and help to build muscle. A big misconception about building muscle is how much weight you use. And that is a huge fitness lie, is if you push more weight, you're going to build more muscle, which is not true at all. What is a better way to go about it is using a lighter weight with better form for a longer period of time. That's going to stress the muscles out way more than doing a 3x3 of bench press, which can help with strength goals. And that's a very different story. But if you're trying to put on muscle and you're trying to put on weight, you need that high time under tension, which is really going to break down those muscle fibers. That's really where you're going to see the growth in your body, in your physique. So movements we want to be doing are bench press, bicep curls, deadlifts, squats, anything like that. A lot of bodybuilding movements work perfectly too. And we want to make sure that the time we do them is increased. I personally like doing pause reps and really making sure that I'm focusing on my form, getting a really nice contraction across my muscles, and putting as much tension on them as possible, because that's where we're going to see the growth. Doing a 3x3 and those very low rep, high weight are good workouts, but you're really not going to see as much muscle growth as you will from those bodybuilding movements where they're slow, time under tension, causing them to rip and get stronger. We want to break down those muscle fibers to repair them even more, and that's where the high calorie diet is going to come into play. You're going to get all the materials you need to build that muscle back even stronger from the diet that you have, and that's why calories in versus calories out is so important in making sure you gain weight. Let's get into tip number 3. Okay, so tip number 3 is all about resting and sleeping. The first thing you need to be making sure is you're getting a good night's sleep. If you're not getting your adequate sleep, then you're not repairing your muscles that you broke down from the previous day. The body needs sleep in order to repair itself and make sure you're getting stronger. If you're not sleeping, you're not growing. Which kind of leads into another tip of less is more. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to go to the gym 7 days a week, crush every single body part, and get super strong. But that's not actually how it works. You need rest in between each workout, so you don't want to stress out your body too much. If you're not giving yourself enough adequate rest between workouts and between body parts, then you're not going to be able to repair the muscle that you broke from the previous workout. You need that time in order to recover and get stronger. That resting period is sometimes even more important than the training period, because you really need to make sure that your body is repairing itself and getting ready for the next workout. That's how you're going to see the growth. So what do I recommend? If you're just starting out and you're just beginning, I would say 3 to 4 times a week in the gym is plenty. Even if you're an intermediate, I would say 3 to 4 times is plenty. That's where you're really going to have enough time to rest, recover, and repair your muscles. And you're going to avoid overtraining, which is something that people can often get. The negative effect of overtraining and training way too much is you can actually start to see your numbers decline. You can regress in your workouts, and you can get weaker because your body isn't repairing itself like it should. But by having that nice rest period and having about 3 to 4 days of a training split is really going to avoid that. Make sure you're recovering as much as possible and getting the good night's sleep on top of it is really going to round out your entire workout routine. Okay, so just to recap, first we need a caloric surplus. We need to be getting more calories in than we are burning. That's going to be one of the main ways that we're going to start growing and getting bigger, especially for us skinny guys. Then we need to make sure that we are doing the right kind of movements, avoiding unnecessary cardio, or if we can't avoid it, increasing the amount we eat to make up for those lost calories from our cardio workout. And in addition to all of that, we need to make sure we are doing time under tension in order to really stress the muscle fibers, break those muscle fibers down so they could be repaired by our sleep and all the calories we are eating. That leads again into the third tip of making sure we are getting adequate rest time and adequate sleep in order to fully recover our body, fully repair our muscles, and get ready for our next workout. We're going to see that once we add all these three together, our numbers are going to increase in what we are lifting. We're going to be able to do more reps, feel stronger in the gym, and we are going to get bigger by including all of these three items we talked about. If you guys like this video, make sure like, subscribe again, let your boy know how he's doing, and see you on the next video.